Hello, welcome back to the ministry. And today, God kind of put this on my heart to talk a little bit about this. I'm not going to go into deep teaching on it because, frankly, it's a lot. But I want to talk to you guys, especially my real ones that I've been out here walking with God for a period of time. That we are in the season of Passover. Now, there's much debate in certain Christian communities, like the way that our biblical calendars meet our physical calendars, and the fact that, for instance, Jesus having gone through the Passover and being led into the preparation for his death, burial, then resurrection. And we just hit Good Friday at the point in time I'm recording this. So we got that 10 days of Passover. Now, why would I bring this up? I am talking about this because there's something that the Lord put on my heart to do for you guys, that I am going to be doing a 3-part series. By the time you see this, it's already been created. That I'm talking about. I've always told you guys, pack your bags, get ready to go. I noticed that a lot of people are not telling you, oh, pack your bags to get ready to go, but ain't nobody telling y'all what to expect when you jump out there following the Lord. And I'm sorry to say this, a lot of y'all got that mindset like, my God love me, my God protecting me, my God got me, my God, he gonna set me up, and because I am his daughter, he gonna set me up lavishly. Some of y'all, the pruning process is real. And 9 times out of 10, God allows your reality to reflect your spirituality. And if your spirit is gunky, guess what? You may be dropped in an ugly place. And as he's cleaning you up, you will transition and transition and transition. And as you learn your lessons, your environment will look better and better and better and better. But you got to learn the lesson. If you haven't gone through those phases yet, my real ones know what I'm talking about. And with each level, it's going to get better. Some of y'all, you are about to walk into your promised land. But there may be a few little hills and valleys. There may be, I want to talk about, it's a YouTuber on here. She just recently had an experience where she had been praying for her marriage. She had been standing for her husband. And just like that, she went from single to married that quick. Gorgeous ring she be wearing all the time in her videos. Shantia Deja, if any of you know who she is, beautiful. When she hold her hand up, that ring be glistening in that sunshine. If you need an example of a person, she won. Because she got that ring. And she is never afraid to show it. She be always putting her hands up in her videos like, da. And she literally said in one of her videos, 1 minute I was praying for him, the next minute he was here and I was married. I was like, oh, snap. These are the people I follow. Because some of y'all is going to be like that. But some of y'all haven't gone through the process yet. Some of y'all, you at the point where you transitioning, you already done did your steps. You already walked through the valley. You already went up the steps to get you to the mountaintop. And you just waiting at the plateau for you to actually get there. But understand, some of y'all been in a resting season, didn't realize it was a resting season, because your next season, you going to be moving around. It may not look ugly. Some of y'all next season aren't going to look ugly. It's going to look nice. But I need to warn the people, for the ones in the back, that you ain't went through your process yet. You going to go through the ugly part. You going to go through that valley. You going to hit that mountaintop. You understand what I'm saying? But you might be in that Shantia Deja season where she on flights. Some of y'all getting ready to hit them flights. I did a word on take off. Look it up. Just look up my word on take off. Some of y'all gonna get ready to hit that phase. But for the others, I need to sober you out with that 3-part series. But why are we here? We are here because we're in a season of passing over. And the reason I'm doing this, because God actually literally just put this on my heart to do it in the past 24 hours. I did the series, and then he wanted me to touch on this, because I can't go death to death. But I need y'all to read and show yourself approved. We in the Passover season. This is the time frame in which Jesus had gone through his processing for his death, burial, and resurrection. He was paraded before the people, so on and so forth. Why am I saying this? Some of you are in your Passover season of Moses. Okay? This Passover is going to look like you leaving Egypt, because you haven't been processed yet. The catch-22 is you leaving Egypt. You leaving Egypt is going to be you hitting your rock bottom season. Meaning it's going to look ugly. You're going to be questioning God as to, God, why is it? I thought we was going to promised land. Did the children of Israel go directly from slavery into the promised land? Did Joseph go directly from the pit to the palace? No. He had to be dropped in a pit. He had to go through slavery. He had to go through prison. He had to go through some of y'all. I'm going to need you to get some sober-mindedness and prepare your thoughts. Prepare yourself. And if you don't know, I'm going to need you to sit in a 3-day consecration before you go. Consecrate yourself and show yourself approved before the Lord so that you know what you about to walk into. Because God say what to Abraham? Go to a place in which I will show you. Sometimes he don't tell you where he's about to take you to, because I know what that felt like. Some of y'all do not know what that felt like yet. So I'm going to need you to sit in the presence of God. Get your consecration on. Get your sit in the presence of the Lord on. Because some of you, you about to cross over. Oh yeah, you're going to cross over. But you may not be happy as to what it looked like when you get there. I remember when I was in the bed like, God, you taking me to New York? We gonna do this. Get to New York. I'm sitting on the bench for about 3 hours. And then I'm like, God, so what we doing? He said, go to the church across the street. I spent a few hours at the service, ended up leaving at 10:30. And I was like, where you taking me, God? I ended up in the bathroom at the Arby's praying, because I'm like, God, what we doing? Oh my God. It started to hit me. I'm like, God, what we doing? I'm emailing, Facebook, and sitting with the Lord. Was that the night that I slept in the airport? It might have been. I don't know. Yeah. God gonna show you if you trust him or not. Though you slay me, I still trust you. Can you do it? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because God's about to put your money where your mouth is, Masoas. Do you trust him? Because, ooh, some of y'all don't know. Your Passover is going to look like 40 days, 40 months in the wilderness while he deals with you. Before he can release you into your promised land. But remember, what did the children of Israel do wrong? Raise your hand. What did they do wrong? They bickered, they complained, and they made idols in the wilderness. Because what? They were trying to plant themselves in a place that was supposed to be temporary, that they were supposed to get through. And how long were they supposed to live there? 11 days? How long did they stay there? 40 years? I'm going to need you to make a conscious effort. Wherever God takes you, if he's taking you somewhere in this season, declare and make a decree to the Lord. Sit before him and say, I'm not going to spend 40 years, 40 months, 40 days in a place I'm supposed to spend 11. Okay? Whatever God needs to process out of you, let him process it out of you in this season, okay? Because he's going to have to do it. And you're not going to be able to avoid it. The Passover is to pass into that season where God's got to process you. Okay? I'm going to need you to get yourself together. Because right now, we are in a very spiritually highly powerful time. And for my consecrators, I love you, sisters and bros, that actually do this. I tried to ask y'all back in November to consecrate with the Tiffany Montgomery Year to Bride fast. I saw a couple of y'all wanted to try. I don't know what happened with my Facebook. Something was happening that I couldn't see on my end. And I saw a couple of y'all join the group. And I was posting. I hope y'all saw the posts for the those of y'all that did desire to consecrate during that period of time. Because I did 18 posts on things that you could have ate during that consecration. There's a group that I now follow also because I'm vegan, so I love anything with that gives you good recipes. So there's a vegan recipe for beginner on Facebook. And then there's a Daniel fasting group that they always are putting recipes for the people that fast. So something to look into. But as we know, Daniel changed his diet. It was his lifestyle to walk in that, right? Some of y'all need to consecrate yourselves because God's about to do a new thing over this period of time. Okay? That by the time y'all see this, it's probably going to be Tuesday. So you can jump in and do what you choose to do. But if you actually do celebrate the Passover, consecrate it if God puts it on your heart. I ain't forcing nobody to do nothing. But if God puts it on your heart to consecrate before him. For he is about to do great wonders amongst you. And for those of you that do the consecration and you sit before him, he gonna pour something out on your spirit. Okay? Now, I want to talk about the fact that the past 2 months, I need you to understand our calendar and the biblical calendar are two different calendars. I was listening to Lady Jeremiah. If you don't know who she is, she often will talk about biblical calendars. And she made the point of talking about Adar. Now, I have always been one that when it comes down to like the latter part of the year, there's certain months that I will get alignment for the Esther consecrations. Okay. And there are certain time frames. Now, if you biblically go along with the biblical calendar of Adar, that basically means that late February, there was a point in time between the 23rd, 24th, and 25th that mimicked the same day sets that Esther fasted for that 3 days. Okay? Not to mention, physically, the Lord pulled a lot of people into consecration. When I say it was mass, everybody I know on social media that was into ministry pulled. They were either already in a fast or they were calling they folks, getting a 3-day, getting a 3-day, getting a 3-day. Sit before the Lord, get your understanding, get your understanding, get your understanding. On the 13th, 14th, 15th. Some people were doing it on the 12th. Some people started on the 11th. Okay? Because God's been speaking. Okay? Getting their instructions in order to position themselves for what it is that God is preparing to do. Now, some of y'all gonna get in a consecration for Passover. I have always been one. Yearly, I will devoid myself from bread. Dang, I forgot this morning. I woke up and I ate pancakes. Because I normally automatically think to do that, but it's 20 seconds, so yeah. Oh no, it don't start till this afternoon. I'm good. I can't eat it tomorrow though, or the rest of the 10 days, because I usually go on flatbreads. It's not that you can't eat bread, you can't eat leavened bread. Now, some people, and I wanted to also talk about this, some people did Lent, meaning the feast of, is it Ramadan? That is the 60 days leading into that phase. So they've been fasting since February 22nd. I think it was. Last year it was February 22nd, if I'm not mistaken, that they started theirs. And I've looked into it previously, but last year there were some people that was doing it that literally would do the consecration and they would just dietarily adjust their diet to Daniel fast for the entire time period of Lent. Now, do you ever have to follow these biblical feast days, what's going on, Jewish holiday? No, you don't. But God looks upon his children and he sees the ones that are getting into alignment with him. And some people will say, oh, it's Ramadan, so it's Ramadan and Lent and all that kind of stuff. Listen to me carefully. God will set you apart into seclusion before him to sit amongst him while he gives you instructions. And for some of y'all that know you've been waiting for God to move. Some of you, if God's spirit has been on you, he told you to do it anyway. You know how you know? You got nauseous. Every time you would have normally ate, you got nauseous and you couldn't eat. God got me trained like that. If he don't want me to eat, I get nauseous. I be like, why am I nauseous? Oh, then I hear that it's time for concert. I was like, dang, you want me to not eat? Ah. But what am I trying to say? For some of y'all, God wants you to do a 3-day consecration. No, you ain't got to do it to the strictness of the Esther fast. Meaning, if you cold turkey, when I say cold turkey, you ain't never fasted a day in your life. And if you did it, it wasn't because you intentionally did it. Something either happened or you just happened to notice that you didn't eat all day. But some of y'all, God's actually saying, I'm going to need y'all to go do you a Daniel. No eating from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Some of y'all are called to just not eat. I've done it before where I did not eat for 3 days. Now, this is a trick that the Lord showed me back when I used to do it. And for those people that the Lord calls to do this, hear me carefully because you have to follow the exact instruction or you will mess yourself all the way up. Okay? Hear me. You, if you do not eat, okay, I want you to go and get you an emergency zinc powder. They usually sell them at your Rite Aids. 1 pack. Get 1 pack. You're going to divide that pack into 3, okay? You're going to drink this once a day, okay? You're going to divide it. You're going to put that in a little bit of water. Some of y'all going to do a green juice. Or you're going to do a green smoothie. That's going to be your meal for the day. Because for some of you, God going to lead you like that for 3 days. Especially for those of y'all that are consecrating to go somewhere. He going to lead you like that. Okay? And you're going to mix you up a nice little green smoothie in a blender. Some of you, good one that I usually use when I don't want to blend nothing. It's called SUJU. They have one that's a collard green kale blend. And then they have one, I think it's kale and lemon and ginger and all of that. One's a lighter green label. One's a darker green label. You can get either one of those. You take this emergency packet if you go about doing it this way. And you put a third of that for the 3 days. Because you're drinking liquids the whole time, okay? I'm going to suggest to you to do the one with the collard greens in it. Why? Because the one with the lemon has acid in it, and that acid is going to make you hungry. If you choose to do it this way. You don't want the one with lemon in it. Because I think the one with lemon in it has ginger in it too. Or maybe you have Whole Foods money that you can go to the juice jamboree and get you a nice little juice. Maybe you can mix your own blended juice at home. Do what the Lord leads you to do. You're going to do one blended juice a day for 3 days. And then you're going to drink water all day for the rest of the time. Now, some of you, by day 2, are going to start feeling a little faint. This is a trick that I learned from a minister when I started doing long running fasts. Okay? Hear me what I'm saying. What you're going to do, and this might be something that will work for you to do just before you go to bed. Listen to me carefully. You do this wrong, you will end up with diarrhea. You don't want that. Hear what I'm about to say. You are going to go get you either some iodized salt or kosher salt. You're going to put a little bit of it in your mouth. You're not going to put it in your mouth with water. You're not going to put it in. You're going to let it dissolve up under your tongue. You're going to swish it around in your mouth with your saliva that's going to develop in your mouth after it dissolves. And then you're going to spit it out. Did you hear what I said? You're going to spit it out and you're going to rinse your mouth out. You are not to swallow this salt. Because let me tell you what's going to happen to you if you swallow salt. Anytime you swallow salt, because I know my dad used to do a cleanse like this. He would take a little bit of salt and put it in water. And he would drink it. He still on occasion does this. You drink salt water, your body's going to flush every bit of liquid out of its system, and you will be operating like a person that got diarrhea. This is why you do not want to put water and salt together and swallow it. This is why I'm going to repeat what I just said. You are going to put the salt in your mouth, under your tongue, until it dissolves. Swish your own saliva around in your mouth. Spit it out. Spit it out and rinse your mouth out. Brush your teeth after. Do whatever it is that you do afterwards. Understand, when you brush your teeth, during certain consecrations, it's like warfare. Gain wisdom, gain understanding if you do this. You hear me? But I'm going to need you to sit in prayer before the Lord, asking him for wisdom, guidance, and direction. You know what you need. You know exactly what you need. You do a 3-day consecration like this, you're not going to fall out. You ain't going to die. You're not going to... You might be a little drowsy. You might be a little dizzy. You might be a little uncomfortable. For my pregnant folks, don't you dare do this. You better eat. You better eat at 6 a.m. to eat at 6 p.m. and pray in between. But I'm sitting here and telling you, and even do you a juice in between if the Lord regulates it. But you got to flush with water for 3 days if the Lord gives you Esther fasting regimens. Because some of y'all about to go into a major Passover, and you're going to need the wisdom that God's going to give you. I don't know, but God set me to say this before, y'all. I done talked about fasting before, but God's having me say this because we are in the midst of a Passover, and God needs y'all's attention. You know what the Lord is telling you. Don't just sit up here and listen to me. But God has specific feast days. Some of y'all do need to do Esther. Some of y'all need to do a strict Esther. Let the Lord lead you. But you got to do it how God leads you. Don't even do it how I tell you. If God don't lead you to do that, that's what sitting before the Lord in consecration does for you. He will tell you exactly how he wants you to do it, if you're supposed to. But there are some major transitions that are about to occur. And for some of y'all, it's happening very soon, very quickly. And he's going to give you wisdom, guidance, and direction. And he has never had me talk about this kind of stuff on my channel. So somebody needs this. So this is going to be the intro day. Now, there are some consecrations that also happen, like the Feast of Purim and the Day of Atonement. That's usually around October, September days. Like the last day of October, first day of September, so on and so forth. The Feast of Purim happens on that end too. There are certain long-running feasts that are 10 days or longer during those latter months. God will have you do those. That's by God's leading. We don't have to keep these feast days, but some of them are necessary because God's trying to get you certain information. give you certain wisdom, give you certain understanding. Don't nobody have to consecrate. But when you get in seclusion with the Lord and sit before Him, He will give you wisdom. And He will lead you into it, what He wants you to do. So I do suggest you do some studies on those things. You do some studies on those feast days, those Passovers, Moses' Passover, Jesus' Passover, Esther. Do deeper study on that. That's between you and God. But I also suggest to you that when it comes down to the months and day calendars, I'm talking about the actual biblical calendars, understanding when the dates fall, because there's certain wisdoms that God will give you. And I recently found out from Lady Jeremiah, where she was talking about, just like the New Age have the horoscope calendar, that there are biblical calendars. There's, for instance, the Daughters of Asher. Some of us represent that season where the world told you you were a Leo. Some of you are Daughters of Asher. Daughters of Asher fall February. Is that February, March? Somewhere around there. So you might want to become familiar with the biblical calendar, because y'all been up here talking about use a Gemini, use a this, use a. Maybe you aren't. Maybe you are biblically a this. For those of you that like to claim things, you might want to look it up and research it. I'm intrigued by it, so I know that I'm personally going to look it up now that I know from Lady Jeremiah about that. It's interesting, something that you might want to find out. Because a bunch of people be out here claiming horoscopes when you need to be claiming God. So that's my spiel. We coming to the end of this video, and I just wanted to bring you that wisdom and understanding. I hope this blessed you, and stay tuned for the next videos. Bye-bye.